So, what's a bit of a surprising story? Gordon Ryan just announced on Instagram that he's going to be retiring from jiu-jitsu in 2020 and that he has a couple of competitions that are already scheduled and he'll do those. But as far as the big competitions go, he's not going to do any. So, I'm going to read off his actual post and then give my take on it after I get through it. So, it says, "Thank you and farewell. It's been years since I did anything besides training. I haven't taken a vacation in 5 years. On this trip, I realized that there's more to life than being stuck in a blue basement every day killing myself. I've proven I'm the best over and over again, and now it's time for a change. It's time to start the next chapter of my life. I have some matches scheduled in early 2020, which I've committed to and will compete in. But consider 2019 the last year of my competitive lifespan. I don't need anything else in life. All I want and need now is to explore the world with the ones I love and help my teammates achieve twice as much as I have, as well as help people around the world through instructional videos. I know it will pain a lot of you to see me go, but this is something I'm sure about. I hope all the fans understand and have enjoyed the rise thus far. It's not over. I couldn't have asked for a better career. Love you all." And then a heart, and then with photo credit to the person who took the photo here. So a lot there. So first off, one of the things mentioned here is that he's got a couple matches scheduled. I believe that one of them, I think it's Patrick Gaudio, is scheduled for Third Coast Grappling in March. Not sure if he has any other schedule. I know that Chael Sonnen was talking about having him come back for another submission underground sometime soon. I don't know if that would be considered one or not, or if this retirement includes any return to submission underground. It is worth mentioning that in this article, it mentions that he doesn't have any plans to do any big tournaments this year. To be fair, if you look at what the big tournaments are in 2020, they're almost entirely just IBJJF tournaments. So you would have the gi and no gi worlds and then gi and no gi pans. I guess you could try to include Euros, Brasileiros in that mix as well, but he didn't do any of those this year either. So the thing is that Gordon Ryan didn't compete in no-gi worlds a few weeks ago, didn't compete in no-gi pans, was there helping coach, was coaching Keaton Cornelius among people he was helping out. So the idea of him not doing those tournaments again this year isn't all that surprising, and this is not going to be an ADCC year in 2020. So I don't know if there ever really was expectation for him to be doing any major tournaments in 2020 regardless, even before this announcement was made, especially not now after the fact. Well, I guess the surprising thing here would be that he's looking to do fewer super fights, or at least beyond the first quarter of the year, he's not going to be doing any super fights. The other thing to notice there would be that oftentimes you have some smaller tournaments come up that are offering decent cash prizes. So EBI had been there for him in the past. It looked like he was going to do the BJJ Fanatics tournament before getting injured this year. Kasai does tournaments. I don't know if Kasai ever would throw enough money at Gordon to get him to compete, but that could be an option. Third Coast Grappling does some tournaments as well. So I guess he wouldn't be doing those either. But as far as major tournaments go, I don't know if this news is really that shocking in terms of him not doing Worlds in 2020. That I don't think anyone really expected him to anyway. As far as 2021 goes, obviously he's going to get invited to ADCC in 2021. It'll be up to him whether or not he wants to do it. But I'm sure the offer would be lucrative enough for him to be willing to do it and come back in 2021. So could I be wrong? Could he be serious about this, and could he not be coming back in 2021 for ADCC? Sure, that's possible. But there's plenty of time between now and then. I would tend to believe, and again, this is without me knowing him personally, but I would tend to believe that he'll probably be back for ADCC 2021, even if he doesn't like put a full camp into it and isn't like severely committed to it. I still would have a hard time seeing him turn down whatever they offer him to come back. But on top of that, he's saying that even though he's planning on retiring from jiu-jitsu competition, he still plans on helping teach people and helping with instructionals, which would mean he's still going to be spending plenty of time in jiu-jitsu gym. So it's not as though this retirement, so to speak, is going to be him just completely retiring from jiu-jitsu, not being in any jiu-jitsu gyms anymore, just completely doing something else in his life. He's still going to be around because obviously he's still going to be teaching. I'm sure he'll still be doing seminars. So for him, he's built up a lot of value in the jiu-jitsu community. So for him to extract some value out of that and be able to cover his bills, he'll definitely keep going back to the jiu-jitsu well. So he's not completely gone from jiu-jitsu. The question I have here, though, is if his plan was to become a jiu-jitsu world champion and then move on to MMA, and he's 24 right now, so he's definitely got time to do it. If the 5 years of hard work in jiu-jitsu were causing so much burnout, I don't know what the plan would be for him going into MMA, because obviously there's a lot of work to do there. I know he's dabbled a little bit in training, but he hasn't had an actual fight yet. So does this announcement mean that he's not doing MMA at all and that he just wants to be a jiu-jitsu teacher now? I don't know that it'd be for the rest of his life, but at least for the majority of his prime athletic years, I don't know if that's going to be the case. It's not as though in this he's really like laying out specifically what he wants us to do in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It just seems like he's sort of been burnt out after a little while, wants to take a bit of a break, and feels as though he's accomplished enough in jiu-jitsu that he doesn't need to just like keep burning himself out trying to accomplish more and more. So for me, as far as what I'm assuming is going to happen with Gordon Ryan next, I didn't figure he was going to be competing in any major 2020 tournaments regardless. I'm going to assume that he'll probably be back for 2021 ADCC. It's going to be an invite. He's not going to have to go through a qualifier to get in. Not that it would matter for him. He's definitely good enough to win a qualifier. So to me, the shock would be if the shock out of this would be if he doesn't come back in 2021. And I guess if you have a bunch of grappling promotions that are throwing some decent money around, if he says no and just doesn't compete again past what he's already agreed to, I guess that could be a little bit surprising. But this news might not, in the end, it might not be as significant as it seems. If this just means that he's going to either start taking a break now or maybe train a little bit less than he used to and just kind of give himself some time away from the mats, maybe that's a good thing. And maybe he comes back reinvigorated. He didn't mention MMA here. It's not clear whether or not he still really wants to go in MMA and still wants to be a world champion there. But if that is the case, taking time away from training right now and not spending time improving, especially in the areas where he needs more work, like wrestling and striking, if he wants to be an MMA champion, that could potentially be harmful. But I guess if you're injured, it's not like you're improving there either. So maybe it effectively is like an injury break where his body's actually healing up. But with that being said, he actually did have a pretty bad knee injury at the start of the year from a match with Joao Gabriel Hocha. He injured his knee pretty bad there, so I'm not sure if he got a break from training during that time or if he was just rehabbing the whole time. So even though he wasn't like rolling every day, he was probably still in the gym. But either way, in the short term, I don't see this being a major deal. What we're going to have to see, though, over time is how stringent he wants to be and how much he wants to stick to this idea of not doing any high-level competitions. But if he decides not to do ADCC 2021, it might take that long to know how serious he is exactly. But if that's what he chooses, then that'd be a bit surprising. You would hope that all the talent that he has doesn't go to waste and he doesn't do something else. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.